It is great pleasure to be here with you this evening and participate in the launch of the book Echoes of Eternity authored by our dear friend Shri Pavan Verma. I have not been able, and it was not possible to go through the entire book, but few pages here and there I have seen, and I feel that the book underlines the fact, the essential feature, the genius of the Indian civilization, Indian philosophical and religious worldview, and that is that Indian culture has essentially a universal vision, and it is based on experience. In our spiritual tradition, which has extended over 4,000 to 5,000 years, or maybe more, whenever there were critical times in our history, great exponents of our tradition arose and gave it a fresh lease of life. These exponents, right from Adi Shankara to Swami Vivekananda, they never claimed for themselves any kind of originality. Their originality has been in reinterpreting the great tradition of the country to suit the conditions of their time. They reinterpreted the teachings of the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and other books in a manner which would appeal to the cultivated minds of their generation. Their reinterpretation was in the form of a new creation, reflecting great intellectual power, logical precision, and emotional profundity. I have made these remarks because not just this book, even the books which have come earlier by Shri Pavan Verma, I see them in the pursuing the same line, trying to reinterpret our old text in order to make more clear and understandable for the present generation. The first chapter of the book, the last shlok of the Nasadiya Sukta, I think one can highlight this shlok to mark the distinction between Indian culture, and there are many other cultures in the world, but this is something which makes a clear distinction or highlights the genius of Indian tradition. This is in fact, I remember the Sanskrit part of it. Iyam visrishtir yad abho yadiva dadhe yadiva yo asya adhyaksha parvo vyomantaso ang ved yadivana ved. The translation which has been used by Pavanji is from H.H. Wilson, he from whom this creation arose. But I think I would like to quote the other translation. The other translation is, who knows who has created this world? Does the one who is sitting somewhere up there knows who has created it, and who is controlling it. Or even he does not know who has created it or who is running the show. Many a times I feel that any comparison, particularly when we use the term religion, religion is not the right translation of dharma. And that is why, sir, this competitive spirit, somehow I do not find Musaddas and Maithiliji, etc. The basic, the essence of every culture has its own genius. And they are not, comparisons are always odious. Karna nahi chahiye. Every other tradition is prescriptive. Religions means you have to believe with certainty in something, whether your mind accepts it or does not accept it. On the other hand, Indian tradition is highly speculative. There is a world of difference between a speculative tradition and a prescriptive tradition. Speculative means, it does not mean, the tradition is not asking you to give up your belief. It is only asking you to apply your mind, be rational, be logical, and that explains why at the time of his death, Bhagwan Buddha, when he was asked by his disciples to give some final advice so that they do not go astray, he said, Apo Deepo Bhava. Be your own light. Do not accept anything even on my authority. He is telling his own disciples. There were many people who challenged and questioned Buddha. But here he is replying to the question of those who believed in him. He said, Apo Deepo Bhava. Be your own light. Do not accept anything even on my authority. Why? Because it is not necessary that my truth can be your truth as well. And that is why even great Shankaracharya has said, he has said, religion is a matter of experience, it is not a matter of dogma. Anubhava vasana meva vidya phalam. The religion I am saying in the sense of, not in the sense of rituals and customs, not in the sense of certain dogmas, but where you recognize your own limitations and you recognize that sovereignty does not belong to you. You are only, and that is, that also explains that this worldview, this universal vision. I'll give you an example. World over, before 1948, whatever we may say, but maybe the awakening started coming much before that, maybe 50 years or 100 years before that. But the first document which was signed by almost every country in this, in the United Nations, was Declaration of Human Rights, which for the first time recognized the principle of dignity of mankind, and from which flew all the human rights which have now found expression in the constitutions of almost every democratic country. Why this need arose in 1948? It was not a reassertion. It was newly found belief that human beings as human beings are entitled to dignity. Why this need? Because before that, nobody officially believed, or I would say that every culture was defined either by color of the skin, or by the language, or by the faith which a group of people practiced. And the attitude of supremacist attitude was there. We are special, we are superior, we are chosen. But in 1948, the world accepted the principle of dignity of mankind. Now come to India. At least more than 4,000 years back, the concept which India gave, what was the concept? Divinity of mankind. And divinity of mankind is certainly a principle much more sublime than dignity of mankind. Dignity of mankind is inherent in the concept of divinity of mankind. If I accept your divinity, Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sada Shiva, this human body is only a temple, and the spirit is the Lord Shiva himself. So if we accept this shining principle of the divinity of mankind, is it possible, is there any scope left for us to try to discriminate against anybody, to oppress anybody, to suppress anybody? And Shankaracharya is the leader who has expounded this under the name of Advaitvad in most effective terms. He says, Shlokardhena pirvakshyami yada banta grantha kotisha Brahm satyam jagat mithya jivo brahmeva napara. I will tell you in one line, Shlokardhena, in half shlok, Shlokardhena, what has been explained or what is contained in thousands of books, and that is that Brahm is the truth, Jagat is mithya, and Jivo Brahmeva Napara. The Jeev as it appears to you is a myth, but the real person and there is no difference between the Paramatma and the Jivatma. Jivo Brahmeva Napara. Elsewhere he says, Etavupadhi para jiva yotsayo samyang nirase na paro na jiva. Rajyam narendrase bhatase khetaka istayor pohe na bhato na raja. He says that Paramatma and Jivatma, these are all matters of upadhis. And like a king sitting in his palace, and the watchman is standing on the gate of the palace, if you remove the title and if you make them wear the same uniform, same dress, then nobody will be able to recognize who is king and who is the watchman who stands there as a guard. Basically, my point is that possibly I feel, as an Indian, I am proud of my cultural legacy. But on the other hand, I feel ashamed of myself, ourselves, because we have not lived up to this great culture. If we had lived up to these ideals, then possibly there would have been no need for the declaration of human rights in 1948. Swami Vivekananda repeatedly said, he said, India has a message to give. India has a message to give. Now the stage of advancement and enlightenment which mankind has reached, now they are not content with a theory which discriminates among human beings, which views human beings differently on the basis of the color of their skin, on the basis of their creed, or even gender. I will give you one example. There are older democracies, as far as, the parliamentary system is concerned, there are older democracies, but they had never given voting right to their women. In India, at the time of independence, our rate of literacy was only 17%. But we started with universal franchise. Why? Our leaders more broad-minded? They were more noble than others? No, that is not the reason. The reason is that we might have committed practical blunders, but our theory does not, our ideals, our values, they do not allow us to make any discrimination on any of these alienable and variable, on the basis of these alienable and variable characteristics. Therefore, we had no option but to start with universal franchise. In fact, till about 150 years, Europe believed that women and people of black skin, they do not have souls. They do not have Atma. On the other hand, in India, not only women and men, but the Indian sages, they saw, Indian thought leaders, they saw Atma even in animals. They saw Atma even in trees, all living beings. And that is why Yoma Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamai Pashyati Tasya Hamna Pirnashyami Sacha Mena Pirnachati. One who views everybody. There is another very powerful shlok from Gita. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmine Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiv Shwapake Cha Pandita Samdarshana. The real one is who views whether there is an erudite scholar, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmine, elephant, cow, dog, or even a dog eater. One who has realized the divinity of mankind, he will have no option but to view them with the same sightedness. So the point I would like to highlight is that I think books like these are absolutely, are talking of teaching to the children. I would say they should be prescribed as compulsory reading for everybody. Yes, they should be prescribed as compulsory reading for everybody, because if there are any people who are really unaware of their own cultural legacy, it is we Indians. So we need to, Prime Minister 2 years back, 3 years back, while speaking from Red Fort on 15th of August, he talked of Panch Piran, 5 vows. The first one was to become aware of your own cultural legacy and be proud of it. If we become aware of our cultural legacy, which refuses to discriminate against anybody, which views in every being divinity, then certainly we will feel proud of it. And I feel that the world, the mankind today, the stage of development where it has reached, it refuses to accept any theory or any doctrine which makes distinction among the people. They want something which can treat everybody on the same footing. And Indian culture, fortunately, we have been told that whatever diversity we see, this diversity is natural. We must respect it and we must accept it. But this culture at the same time also asks us not to stop there. We accept diversity, we respect diversity, But our cultural values tell us not to stop there. Then what to do? Develop your capacity to, behind this apparent diversity, you develop the capacity to see the intrinsic unity. ये आभासी जो विविधता है, इसके पीछे जो अंतरंग एकता है, वो अंतरंग एकता काहे की एकता है? वी आर ऑल स्पिरिचुअली कनेक्टेड. आत्मा के बंधन से हम सब बंधे हुए हैं. हम मोबाइल पे बात करते हैं. आर यू एबल टू सी द वेव्स on which your voice travels? No, we are not able to see. Yet we know that there is something, some physical phenomena on which my sound travels and reaches the other person within seconds. Similar, our sages saw this thousands of years back, that we are all spiritually, we are not able to see the spirit. But we can know from our experience that if you, this is what has been highlighted in our tradition, that if you hurt anybody, if you do something which you will not accept for yourself, then if not today, tomorrow you will face the consequence. This karma theory is prominent part of Indian tradition. In fact, one small anecdote from Mahabharata. After the war was over, Gandhari told Bhagwan Krishna, Krishna, I was mother of 100 sons. You could have spared at least one, so that I would not have died as a childless mother. Then Bhagwan Krishna told her, who am I to take lives of your children? The Purna Avatar is telling her that I am nobody. I am not responsible for the death of your sons. You do not remember, as a child, you were a princess, and as a child you were fond of cooking food. You used to go to the kitchen, and one day, you were young, very young at that time, you threw the boiling water on the ground, which went into a hole which was there in the ground, killing 100 eggs of an insect. And that insect cursed you. तुम्हें श्राप दिया. These are the, she says, you yourself are saying that I was a small girl. I did not do it intentionally. Whether you do it intentionally or you do it unintentionally, the consequences of karma will follow you. Even gods are not spared of the consequences of karma. So this great tradition, and it has been earlier, more than 1,000 years back, it was Adi Shankara. Then in recent times it was, there have been many other people as well. I'm just giving you two names. Swami Vivekananda. What powerful articulation. I wish we develop the habit of reading them. Then we will not compare this tradition with any other tradition. This tradition is totally different. It has a universal vision. It encompasses everybody. It does not just what Swami Vivekananda said. Swami Vivekananda, in his letter to Sister Nivedita, he said, my mission can be explained in simple words. I want to teach unto mankind. He did not say, I want to teach unto Indians. He said, I want to teach unto mankind their divinity and its manifestation in all movements of life. I think what Pavanji is doing, not just this book, even the earlier books, he is following that great tradition of making our wisdom explained in simple words so that we become more aware, more familiar with our cultural legacy, and we may feel proud of it, and we may live up to it so that we can inspire other people also. Thank you very much. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Jai Hind.